Are LFP batteries any better than their ternary counterparts? Hello, Grumpy here. In case you're wondering if the lighting or sound's a bit off and there's some noises in the background, I am actually once again in a different country. So I'm just spending this week here in Bali. Now, as you're aware, battery technology is still developing rapidly, and improved battery chemistries, and they continue to come through, and prices continue to drop. Now, lithium ferrophosphate, or LiFePO4, LiFePO4, or LFP, has taken prominence recently, and prices have come down quite a reasonable bit. And LFPs have got a few advantages over the other battery types, but what about their downsides? So first of all, we'll just cover a few basics. LFP, or lithium ferrophosphate batteries, are a subtype of lithium ion, ION, batteries. And these have basically become pretty much the go-to for off-grid power, storage and so on. And in recent years, they've also been getting more and more into electric vehicles. Now, LFP get their name from the chemical composition of the cathode, which consists of lithium iron phosphate. The anode is typically carbon, and the electrolyte is a lithium salt in an organic solvent. And so it's the cathode that is different in each type of battery. And it's this chemistry that is LFP batteries' first advantage. Very little in the way of thermal runaway. So if you look at the videos from BYD with their nail penetration testing, the normal lithium ion battery, which has got NMC or NCA or one of those, just bursts into flames, whereas their LFP blade battery doesn't. Gets a little bit warm, but there's no massive thermal runaway. And this is a major difference. And it's basically due to the strong covalent bonds in the cathode trapping the oxygen in there. So apart from the safety aspect and the decreased chance of the LFP batteries catching fire, what else have they got in their favour? Well, due in part to their inherent stability, they've got a much greater life cycle, which is the number of times that they can be fully charged and discharged when compared to other lithium ion or ternary batteries. Now, there's a number of different studies that have quoted anything from 50% more cycles up to 5 times more. I tend to go with the 50 to 100% more. If you look at the ternary batteries, they're usually quoted as having about 2,000 to 2,500 cycles, whereas the lithium iron phosphate or lithium ferrophosphate batteries are usually quoted in the 3,000 to 5,000 cycle range. Yeah, and while we're here, could you please give me a huge favour and boop that like button below and click that subscribe button? It won't cost you anything, but it will help me. Go on, boop those 2 buttons. Thanks very much. Now, the next advantage is cost. They are, lithium ferrophosphate batteries, much cheaper to manufacture, as they've really only got a few chemicals that are quite easy to find. Lithium, yeah. Iron, it's all over. I mean, Australia is just a massive iron ore exporter. And it doesn't have the manganese, the cobalt, the nickel and the aluminium in it. Now, aluminium is quite plentiful, but cobalt, there's been a few problems with that. Now, having said manganese, there is the new lithium ferrophosphate batteries called LMFP, which is lithium manganese ferrophosphate. They're also called M3P. And those are proving to be somewhat better than just the straight LFP. But the cost of these LFP batteries has dropped a few years ago below that magical $100 per kilowatt hour. So they're getting quite reasonably well priced. Now, LFP batteries can also be charged to 100% regularly. In fact, Tesla EVs, they recommend that with their LFP batteries, you charge it to 100% at least once a week, whereas they're now advising that the ternary batteries only be charged to 80% regularly, unless you need more range because you're going on a road trip. So if you think about that, 80% of a longer range is about the same as 100% of the shorter range. So get the LFP batteries maybe. Now I do know that I think MG was saying only charge their LFP batteries to 80%. Yeah, I don't know why, perhaps they'd like to let me know. Now a big problem with these batteries is, with all these lithium batteries, is their self-discharge rate. And this is the amount of charge lost with the batteries just sitting there doing nothing. Now LFP batteries only have a self-discharge rate of between 1 and 3% per month. So they can sit there for a few years without degrading too much, whereas the ternary batteries, it's a lot higher. So this all sounds too good, doesn't it? Yeah, well, LFP batteries do have a few disadvantages as well. Firstly, they're less energy dense than the NCA or NMC ones, meaning that to go the same distance, you've got to have a bigger, heavier battery. So that sort of negates the advantage, as the heavier the battery, the higher the consumption. So, you know, LFP batteries are used in the static storage area and also in the standard range variations of electric vehicles. So the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, the Model Y rear-wheel drive, they've both got LFP batteries in because they're cheaper, and they only put in 60 kilowatt hours worth of batteries as opposed to the 75 for the NMC or NCA versions that are in the long range and the performance models. LFP batteries are also slightly more temperature sensitive when it comes to charging and discharging. But with suitable battery management systems, this can be overcome. I mean, in fact, the majority of manufacturers nowadays have got very good BMSs. Yeah, I'm not looking at you, Nissan Leaf. Oh well. So LFP batteries also can't be charged quite as fast as their ternary cousins, nor can they discharge as fast. So that's why the NMC and NCA batteries are used more in the longer range and the performance EVs, because they can get the charge out quicker. Now, all these batteries use lithium, which it was initially thought might be a problem, but some improvements in mining and extraction of lithium and so on have helped to some extent. But maybe the next series of batteries, or the next generation of batteries, will have sodium in them. So these sodium batteries, they've got more of a problem with the energy density. They're a lot lower than the LFP batteries. But we've only got to look at about a decade ago when the standard lithium ion batteries had a much lower energy density than they do now. So things have improved. They've just added a bit of manganese to the LFP, and that's improved them. So I'm sure that over time they're going to solve some of these problems with sodium ion batteries. And these sodium ion batteries should prove safer than the lithium ones, which will be even better. In the meantime, I do believe that LFP batteries have got more advantages than disadvantages when compared to their ternary cousins. So I initially had a Tesla Model 3 about 4 years ago that had NCA batteries in it from Fremont in California. And I've now got my Model Y rear wheel drive, which has got LFP batteries in. It's actually got a larger LFP battery. That I had a 50 kilowatt hour battery in the Model 3. I've got a 60 kilowatt hour battery, which is now LFP in the Model Y. And I'm very happy with that. And I would buy another EV which had LFP batteries in without hesitation. So what do you think? LFP batteries or ternary batteries? What's your choice? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching. If you could do me a huge favour, click the like and subscribe buttons below. And remember, it costs you nothing, but it really does help me and help the channel. And I'll see you all very soon.